All right, update on the silver notch Aluminator with the Procharger F1A. It is, I'd say 90% done now. I'm just holding off on the interior and putting the windows in until I make sure everything is working just how I want it. And that's pretty simple to do, is put the interior and the windows back in. So I'll just kind of go over it front to rear. So on my searching on Google and the internet, I couldn't find anyone who had true 3-inch over the axle exhaust with mini tubs on a Fox. So for those who are wondering if it can be done, yeah, of course it can. I did not want dumps. This is not a race car, even though it's going to be powerful. It's going to have a nice interior, lots of sound deadening, and I don't want the drone and the exhaust smell that comes with dumps. All right, so fuel cell in the rear. I mounted that flush with the floor, so I still have trunk space. Then we have our Holley 1200 horsepower dual billet pump. That is wired so that one is always running and the other one only comes on under boost. So we're not heating up the fuel and pushing too much fuel recirculation. Everything in here is pretty much stainless steel for fasteners and exhaust, and or powder coated and brand new. So the exhaust is all 3-inch true stainless steel. It does have high flow cats, of course, to be legal. Stifler's mount there for the 6R80. Custom made drive shaft to the rear, which has 355 gears and 31 spline axles, custom made by Strange. Willwood brakes all around with the internal parking brake. Strange double or single adjustable shocks in the back. I did put a sway bar on. It is going to be street driven, so I had to make custom mounts for that to fit. And you know, with the wide tires and the mini tubs, I had some custom lower control arms that are offset. Drive shaft loop. The whole underside is coated with a professional grade duplicolor undercoating. It's kind of between a bed liner and a rubberized. It's not too hard and it's not too soft. Heat shielding. Try to keep the temps inside reasonable. Kooks headers, UPRK member, Moroso oil pan. All right, so Kook stainless headers, UPRK member, Willwood 6 piston brakes. These are custom 3-piece wheels that I had done. 8.5 in the front and 13s in the rear. There was almost nothing on this car that was just bolt on. That little bracket I made out of stainless just to not pinch or to spread the pressure there when I tightened it down instead of denting the subframes. Coilovers in the front, adjustable. This is transmission cooler, overflow, horn, line lock, that's just a junction point for power, big 60 millimeter wastegate, 1300 horsepower Procharger intercooler, big red blow-off valve. This isn't on here permanently yet. Then we have relays for 3 fans and a relay to run the compressor for the AC. That's where I mounted the computer so it's out of sight. The car does have AC, custom lines. There's custom made 1/4 inch thick sway bar mounts. Yes, way over engineered, but spaces them down and they're removable. Suede headliner, front or back half of the roll bar, and I'll put the front half in once I have everything how I want it. All right, now we're top side, probably what you're most interested in. There is the Aluminator. I am going to try out this sheet metal intake. It has these ribs on it, good to 25 pounds of boost. Cool little alternate V-band there, more of a clamshell. I don't have any clamps on yet, but they will go on, of course. Crankcase evac, so that's the fresh air supply. And then coming off here to the catch can. And then out from under the intake, the bungs are all underneath the intake there. So it comes out. There's the vibrant check valve so that no boost gets pushed back through into the engine. So there you can see the AC system with the custom lines. Receiver dryer. And going into the firewall. So tried to make it as clean as possible. AC lines are never pretty. So there's just some battery terminals. Battery is in the back, but you know, if you need to give someone a jump or get a jump. UPR caster camber plates. This is a Willwood setup for manual brakes. And all this tubing is all custom made. It's pulleyed for about 22 pounds of boost. And the interior is lizard skinned, both ceramic and sound. So it has both. Lots of wiring was done for all the add-ons that are going to be on there. So I had to cut the quarter panels to fit the mini tubs there. I made these panels out of aluminum because the battery is in the back and the fuel cell is in the back, and you know, I want to put a little bit of a firewall there. So that's made out of aluminum. But aluminum is really, really loud, and this car I want to be quiet, so I backed it to hardboard. So it mutes it really nicely. That is quieter than, well, it's about like the roof because it now has lizard skin on it, but the roof was not that quiet. But just sheet metal like Scott Rod and stuff like that, it's incredibly loud, not really good for a street car. I'll make some panels back here. That's where the amps are going. There's the X-brace on the roll bar. There's the fuel cell. I cut a aluminum 1/4 inch thick little panel there, so I can take that off. It has gaskets, and then I can pull the fuel cell out and the battery. I originally did have this hooked up where it was functional, and I had made a stainless steel custom filler neck, but then I thought, you know, that wouldn't be terribly safe in a rear collision. So now it's cosmetic. I made a stainless panel there to fit that. And let's see what else. Nice quarter windows. All the trim, everything on the car is brand new. The car is very dirty and dusty from working in the shop. And the paint is not finished. Once I get the car all together, then I take it back to the paint shop for the final buff and polish. So that's where it stands now. I am about ready to put the doors on, put the stereo in. Looking at a tune from Lund or Sean at AED. And I did add pins to the computer harness. That's one thing I'm doing right now. I'm waiting on some more pins. But the things I'm pinning out there is for select shifts, so paddle shifters. So you need 3 pins for that. You have an upshift, downshift, and a signal return. And then I also am gonna see if I can get that wide open throttle AC pin, if that actually works, as well as with the 6R80 and a build like this that is custom. There is no reverse wire that comes out of the transmission, but there is a pin on the computer that says reverse, so I'm gonna see how I can get reverse on this car. So hopefully that'll work through a relay to reverse. And then I'm gonna see if I can pull a wideband signal off to go to my boost controller. Otherwise I'll have to put in a wideband, so that way if it gets lean, it'll just open the wastegate and take it down to 7 pounds of boost, so nothing gets broken or melted. I am going to put videos up of how I did some of the things, you know, how it was constructed. People might be interested in the electric power steering, where I took a Mustang and a Saturn Vue unit and put it in there. So it is, it works really nicely. It fits in there pretty nicely, but there's a lot of measuring and cutting and welding. And you can see there's a support on the firewall with a bearing. But this way, power steering. I did do manual brakes. This is different. Normally I do Hydro Boost, but I wanted to try manual brakes with a setup specifically made for manual by Willwood. And what that did was allowed me to use the stock setup for the AC compressor down there and the Boss alternator. So this time I didn't have to use a kit like Power by the Hour to put on power steering and move the accessories around. Because using things like that also limits what you can do for a power adder. I didn't do a Kin bell or another positive displacement, but those use pulleys to drive it that go here, right here, which is with the Power by the Hour system where your alternator goes, so it wouldn't work. Anyways, that's it for now. When I get time, which could be a while, I'll try to put some of the how-to videos up.